Hello and welcome to the first CRE webinar for the 2018-2019 Enactus year. The purpose of this webinar is to provide you with a streamlined version of the training provided in June. Do not panic if you missed it, you'll have all the information you need in this webinar and I'll provide further detailed resources alongside this. This year you are welcome to ask questions. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any questions about anything CRE related. I'll provide you with my email address in the next couple of slides. It's better to sort these things sooner rather than later. Here's an agenda, which is what we'll be going through in this webinar. So looking at your CRE role, supporting the role, your network, engaging your advisors, goals and targets, communication skills, employability, and tips and tricks. But first, a little introduction. Hello, I'm Catherine. I am your engagement manager. Here is my email address for you to get in contact with me. I have just graduated from the University of Birmingham, where I was team leader for our Enactus team. I will be managing the CRE programme and working with you and your engagement with our partners. I can support you in a variety of different ways this year, including communications with advisors, providing advice sheets and more training like this. But please do get in contact with me if there's anything specific you'd like to go over. If you'd like to have a Skype conversation with me, email me with some specific dates and times so that we can organise a time and I can help out as much as possible. Once term starts, I'll be looking at dedicating an afternoon to Skype calls and we'll keep you updated when that gets going. So let's begin. Your CRE role. This slide outlines the core responsibilities of the CRE role, which you should definitely give a good look over so that you have a full understanding of what you will be doing or are expected to be doing this year. Depending on the structure of your team, you may share these between multiple people, for example if you have a co-CRE or if your team leader wants to get involved in some of these things as well. One thing, no matter how you do divide or don't divide this role, ensure that the responsibilities below are all covered and that it is clear who is responsible for what. It's a good idea to refer back to these throughout the year to ensure that you're making the most of your time in your role. The CRE role is a fantastic opportunity to develop your skills in training, communication, interpersonal relationship building and more. It is one of the most employable roles in Enactus and means that you have contact with our wonderful network of partners. It is your role to engage your advisors and work with your team to understand how they will be of most value or how they can support you this year. As quite a large role, you do have support. So I am one of these people who are here to support you, but you also have your CRE mentor. We are incredibly fortunate to have Enterprise Rent-A-Car who are strongly involved in Enactus. They provide each CRE with a personal development mentor. Their role is outlined on this page, and again, they are a great contact to have, so make sure that you initiate the relationship as soon as possible. You hopefully will have seen emails from myself regarding getting in contact with them. If you still have not made contact, you need to do so as soon as possible. They're a great source of support and advice, and if you work with your mentor to set goals and objectives this year, Enterprise Rent-A-Car will provide a certificate in relationship management, which is not an opportunity to be missed. It is to be said though, if you do not know who your CRE mentor is, please get in contact with me as soon as possible. Here is just a short slide about how you should work with your mentor, such as organising regular calls and meetings, setting goals and reviewing things with your mentor. But I think the most important part is that you need to be proactive. Just like you are doing Enactus alongside your degree, your advisors, your mentors, sponsors, they are all doing this alongside their normal jobs. So time is tight. So please make sure that you utilise your time with them most efficiently and effectively because you want to make the most of the time that you have with these very, very valuable people. So your network. These are all the people who you will be interacting with and engaging with throughout the year in your CRE role. You'll be looking to create impact through project development, student development and your partner relationships. So see this slide for ways that you should be interacting with each member of your network. Remember, they are here to help you and advise you, so please do not be afraid to ask questions. This slide has all of our current sponsors and partners on there. It's a list that you should be aware of so that you know who is involved in the Enactus UK programme, but also is very useful if you're looking for more business advisors. You can fill out a business advisor request form as found on the Resource Centre. And if you want someone in a specific industry, you can have a look at this list to see who would be most appropriate. So give that one a good scan. Next, let's have a look at how to engage your support network. Working with your support network is a key part of the CRE role. Your role is key for communication, employability and engagement. Your role extends both internally with your connections to the team leader, understanding projects through your project leader relationships, as well as training for the rest of the team. Externally, your role sees involvement with Enactus UK, that's us, Enactus UK partners, employers, sponsors and your university. It is key that you demonstrate the importance of the support network to your team. Coordinating your communication involves following our guidelines when you are communicating with any of our sponsor companies. Please follow these guidelines, which include being sure to avoid data sharing and always making an introduction when you are connecting people. I will be making a professionalism and GDPR advice sheet with more details on this for you soon. So with regard to coordinating your communication, you need to make sure that your team have an understanding of the relationship you have with each partner, sponsor, your CRE mentor, so that they can therefore use their time and make the most appropriate move or communication, whether that's an email or a phone call. You can make that as worthwhile as possible. But most of those communications will be coming through you. It's just a good way to keep the rest of the team updated on what you're doing. So, it's a great idea to create individual engagement plans for each member of your support network. You can use an individual engagement plan to monitor the number of communications you have in a month, or just to remind you to make those communications, even if the CRE report, which I'll go through later, doesn't already remind you. Basically, this is about expectation setting. So you should set expectations with all advisors and understand how that advisor may like to support you. Perhaps they just want to attend advisory board meetings, or maybe they want to get more involved with one specific project. So it's a really good idea to get this set out early. So if you know of your business advisors, please do send them an email and figure out how they want this relationship to work over the next year. So there are a variety of different ways to engage your advisors as well. And you can go through this list, but the one that I'm going to take you through at the moment are advisory boards. So, these business advisory boards are your opportunity to bring all these different people together to discuss your project's progress and goals as a team. They're a great opportunity, but one that needs to be planned well in advance. Trying to coordinate everyone's diaries can be very tricky, so you should be setting your dates for your advisory boards now and send a save the date email to your advisors to get this in their diaries. You can live stream your advisory board for those who cannot make it, but this is something short of a last resort. Just it's not ideal. So one of the key aspects of running the advisory boards is organisation. Pre-meeting, you need to organise and book rooms, doodle poll availability, invite attendees, follow on invitations, make an agenda, create handouts and compile minutes to be sent to all relevant individuals. The agenda for these meetings are really important to make sure that you stay focused and use the time of your advisors as well as yourselves as efficiently as possible. Bring along your reports for those attending the advisory board so that they have a clear understanding of your team and your projects. During the meeting, it's really important to have a good meeting structure. Think about the room layout. Do you want everyone facing each other? Do you want everyone looking at you? What's the most effective way that you believe you'll be able to run your meeting? You need to think about having different roles, such as a timekeeper and a chairperson. You need to make it inviting. So bring coffee and tea, bring little chocolates or biscuits or something, and also maybe bring cards that just say thank you so that you show your advisors how much you appreciate the time they have given up to be there. If you can have provisional dates for the next meeting for the members to go over, great. If not, follow it up in an email. Make the most of this time. Use this time to discuss key challenges you are facing in your projects or teams and ask for advice. Do not just see this as an update meeting. The advisors want to know how they can help you, so don't be afraid to highlight the issues that you are facing. Then post-meeting, you need to do a follow-up, ask for feedback and set plans for next time. It's a really good idea to do this really soon after the advisory board because things will be fresh. Also, just something I forgot to mention earlier, during your meeting it's a very good idea to have somebody take minutes. Those are people who take notes of everything that was said, because that will therefore save time with everyone trying to scribble down what each other is saying. Yes, so now moving on to the delight that are CRE reports. The CRE monthly reports are to be submitted every month via the online Google document. They are due every last Friday of every month. So this month, that's the 31st of August. They update automatically, so provided that you filled them out, you shouldn't have to do anything else. These are really, really important documents that allow us to track your engagement with sponsors and their response. If we see that you've been making contact with your advisor and they have not responded for a few months, there is then the opportunity for myself or others to get in contact with the advisor to see what's going on. And of course, vice versa as well, because we will be checking with sponsors to see how the engagement has been from your end. In order to make the most of your network and Enactus UK support, you need to fill these in. You should have a link that you can click on, which will take you straight to your CRE report. If you don't, please pop that in an email and I will get that link to you as soon as possible. So, your current network is something that you need to analyse. This slide highlights an example of the best way to analyse your current network. This can be particularly useful for your initial assessment of your team. And it's a really good way to know who you've engaged with and in what way. It's an ideal way to set yourself up for the year ahead. So I would highly recommend spending some time, an hour or two, going through your network and putting it into a template such as this. There are various scenarios that may occur based upon your analysis of your support network. This slide outlines these scenarios alongside the appropriate actions you should take. Follow these steps to make sure your engagement is as effective as possible. If there are any instances where you need further advice, please do not hesitate to contact us. Give that a good look over, because then you know if that situation pops up, then you have an idea of what to do. Any queries though, please let us know. Next, and I think this is perhaps one of the most important parts of this training, is your goals and your targets. This is a list of all the big dates that are coming up in the next Enactus year, and you should use this to map out your goals and your targets. So say, for example, you have example target: by the Enactus regional competitions, I will have engaged 2 new business advisors, or I will have held 2 advisory boards. Anything like that. It's a really good way to set up your year. It means that you are working towards something. I know everybody works differently, but generally if you're working towards the deadline, it can make you much more efficient and effective in what you are doing in the year. But this is also a good way, if you set your goals now, you can share those with your team, so your team know what you're doing in the year, and they can also add to them and also support you in achieving those goals. Yes, so you should have seen this week, that we have released Support Network Week of Summer Action. In there is the engagement calendar, which is a similar idea to setting goals and targets. Like, you can put your targets in there, but the engagement calendar is more for inputting the events or the meetings that you have organised with your advisors, or team socials, team meetings. It's a way to organise your year. So you can use this template as a way for organising your goals, but I would also recommend setting out an A4 sheet of paper saying, here we are now, and this is where we want to be at the end of the year. Next, I think we've got communication skills. As we've put so much emphasis on your support network and getting in contact with them, we think it was really important to actually consider how you communicate with these people. Where your network is made up of different people in different industries from different backgrounds, you need a degree of flexibility to ensure that communication is effective. There is more to communication than just talking and listening. It is how we say what we say. But we have to acknowledge that not everyone communicates in the same way. You must also remember that you can communicate in many ways without actually saying anything. It's similar to when you turn up to a job interview and you sit with your arms folded or hunched over. Your body language can communicate your attitude, the way you're feeling at the time, so it's important to keep professional. Yes, so you need to remain professional whilst at the same time friendly and personable. Make sure you send regular communications to advisors. They are more likely to offer support if they are regularly engaged, rather than just picking up with them when you need something. So yes, this is just a short slide outlining more examples of professional communication. These are different forms of communication. When you start to engage with your network, it's a really good idea to assess which form of communication your advisors prefer. So we're on to our second to last topic. Thank you for bearing with me. People join Enactus for a wealth of different reasons, as I'm sure you know, from wanting to change the world to simply learning business skills. Enactus can provide you with a range of skills that increase your employability. This section highlights some ideas for ways that you can utilise the skills you develop through Enactus, both for yourselves as CREs and for your teams and their development. It's also a good idea to assess the skills within your team and where you are lacking. Speak to me, your BA or your current CR mentor and see if they can deliver some training for you and your team on these topics. We are here to support you, so please reach out. So finally, some top tips and tricks. Have a look through these of just things that we think will help you throughout this year. But I think the overarching piece of advice that was given in June was fail to prepare, prepare to fail. It is paramount that you prepare yourself for this year. Set out your goals, what you want to achieve, get meetings in the diary, start well, end well. And just ask questions. It can be daunting speaking to business advisors, but trust me, they want to help you. And if you as a team don't approach them and explain your situation honestly and fully, they won't be able to help you in the same way. If you have any concerns around these kinds of communications, please get in contact with me. But I think that is all we have time for. I know there's a lot in this video and I've given you a lot of things to think about, but I hope this is a good starting point for you all. You'll find various resources within the CRE booklet that are aimed at starting this reflection and analysis process for your support network. I would highly recommend now or in the near future going through these exercises to make sure you get focused on this year. Spend some time outlining your goals, send them to your team leader. Keep the communication within your team strong and be ready for September because it will come round soon enough. Keep in touch and I'll speak to you all soon. Good luck!